Kim, how are you? And I know you're really excited about our guest, and it's summertime, right? We're gonna learn from him today. Go ahead.
That's right. That's right. Dr. Rhett Drugi, America's #1 dermatologist. Dr. Rhett, first I have to say, welcome to the show. But I was looking at some interviews. I see that there's a wedding ring on your finger. I don't know how you can possibly be married with all of the millions of things that you do, unless you just fund her shopping habit and then you guys are happy that way because you do so much. You have been involved, you're involved in so many organizations for dermatology. You're the cutting edge doctor with your melanoma scan, with so many things that you're doing to help prevent skin cancer, help early detection of skin cancer, saving so many lives. You are my hero, and welcome to the show.
You're way too kind, Kim.
Well,
All
I
I'm trying
can.
to do is create awareness. People should be looking at each other, caring for one another. Love is the message. We need to just keep an eye on one another because the skin things that go wrong can kill you. So it's really important for us to lather up, put those big broad brimmed hats on, no baseball caps because the ears and the temples go to heck in a handbasket. And then wear that hat, the sunglasses, the clothing. Just keep yourself hydrated. Stay radiant. Look beautiful. And if they look like you, Kim, they've got it made.
You are so kind, sir. You are so kind, but you're absolutely right. There are so many things that we should do. I do have a question for you. Are there some people that are definitely more need to be even more aware and more careful than others, or is this just across the board, no matter your ethnicity, no matter your heritage, whatever, this is how you should behave in the sun?
We all get sun damage. It doesn't matter what we look like. Every single one of our 110 skin types are vulnerable to some kind of sun-induced damage. We are arboreal creatures. We belong in the forest. We belong under the leaves and the shade of trees. We do not belong in the direct sun. And this is something I want to drive home, that we should protect ourselves from sunlight. But being outdoors is the greatest gift you can possibly enjoy.
That's a great point, Dr. Rhett. And I think it's the important thing is for aging as well. For people that might say, okay, you tell them to avoid skin cancer, they're like, okay, but no, I'll take the chance. I'll roll the dice. But when you talk about aging, if you're spending so much time in the sun, it ages you so much, doesn't it, Dr. Rhett?
Oh my God, that leather skin. I mean, it just, or the dark spots or the freckly light spots that come up as people age. And boy, the skin just, as you get older, that's a reflection of how much sun damage. So, what your skin type color, it is always good to become a shaded person who has a beautiful outdoor life, but protects themselves during those key sun hours of 10 to 4 p.m.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and back in my day in high school, I think we used baby oil with a little iodine in it. And so I'm sure that the damage that was done back then was not so great. And so it's great with all the SPF, everything coming out. But is there a number that is too high, or you really don't have to go that high, or a number that's too low? What's the perfect balance there?
Well, I think we should stay sun-kissed and not sunburned. Lather up with SPF 30 or higher before you head out. Do it, and don't be shy. Just apply and reapply. Nothing like a friend to offer you a helping hand in your back where the sunscreen may wear off. And, just I love the hats, the sunglasses, the light clothing. Just be there and just get comfortable, loose cotton clothing. Blue clothing works a lot better than white clothing. White clothing allows sun through. Blue doesn't.
And how many hours a day should you, especially in the summer, a lot of people have a go to the beach for 2 weeks or the whole summer, go to the pool, live at the pool. How many hours a day should you be in the sun, really, even with the protective suntan 70 SPF or whatever. What are your thoughts? Like, do you think that's a mistake for people to spend so much time?
I think that people who are in the pool and have personal pools or have strong access to beaches and pools are some of the most sun damaged people I ever meet. They're out there too much, in my opinion. I wish we could take every pool and just put a greenhouse cover over it so people don't just damage themselves wholeheartedly in the sun at their personal or community pools. So I think that, we just have to be aware damage and skin cancer does form, and it's such an insidious, slow problem. Let's say you get a sunburn when you're 12 years old. That sunburn may eventually get to you when you're 45. It's an amazingly slow, insidious problem. And we have to be very careful. Look at old pictures to make sure that spot you see today was there 5 years ago. Make sure that you understand the signs of skin cancer, the bleeding, itchy, blistering spot that doesn't heal up quite right, doesn't look quite right. Don't be afraid to see something and say something to one of your loved ones. Because the reality is we can't see our skin very well. We can't see behind our back, behind our legs. So see something, say something, and love the people you're with, and don't be afraid to be frank about your concerns.
That's such a good point. Early detection is just so important in any kind of a cancer. I know I've got a son who's a cancer researcher, MD, PhD, and early detection just changes everything. And now you've got this whole body scan out there. And I've heard you talk about even using our cell phones to take pictures and to be able to get diagnoses different ways, and which I think is absolutely remarkable. But you've got to be bold enough to tell people, hey, is that spot okay on your back? And then do something about it, right? And don't take it lightly if somebody points something out to you.
Yeah, don't be afraid to look back at your own pictures. Most men's melanomas are on their backs. And so if you kind of just get those family photos and use them to not suffering from any new spots that look dark and uncomfortable, or little things that are pink bumps. Those are the scariest types of things. And every single race and color and creed gets these types of problems. Even Bob Marley died of a melanoma on his toe. So it doesn't really discriminate against you based on any feature we can imagine. It is just something that everybody needs to be aware of. Everybody needs to get on the same page, and we all have to bond together. And we can use cell phones as a great tool for accessing that information, the visual information we need to see and communicate with our doctors. We have done studies showing that dermatologists are just as good looking at the imagery as they are in person. So you can just send them into thebestdermatologist.com and kind of get your questions answered. You can set up telemedicine services and have a doctor take a look at things you're concerned about, or make a real appointment if it needs to go to that next level. But the fact that we can, with a good sharp picture, make that decision to go to that next step is an amazing opportunity now, given that everybody's taking pictures of everything and more than they want to. So I think we're moving into an era when there should never be anyone who dies of skin cancer anymore. But 20,000 people a year do die of skin cancer in the U.S. alone. So it's something that good attention, family history, paying attention to people you care about, people you love, and looking after one another is going to solve this problem.
Okay, so Kim, you have a love question right before finishing up this interview. Go ahead with that question.
I do. Yeah, kind of a funny question for you, perhaps, but I spent a year, I dedicated an entire year to figuring out the true meaning of love, and the things that I figured out just kind of blew my mind. And one thing that I figured out is that love is everything and everywhere and universal and is involved in everything that you do. And you are so passionate about your work and so cutting edge and trying to be ahead of everything to really help people. It seems that the whole reason you do what you do is because you care for people. And so I'm curious how love plays a role in what you do and in how we should be helping each other.
Listen, we need to express selflessness, unconditional love, respect, trust, commitment, empathy, growth, and joy within our human relationships. Love is the answer. And if you love people, you'll look at them carefully. You'll care about them, because we need to have deep, enduring bonds among one another. And that's the answer. That's what led me to be so passionate about skin cancer. I saw both of my godparents' spouses die about 30 years ago from melanoma. And it's tragic, brain tumors and mortal outcomes. Not good. Most common cancer death in the U.S. military. Most common cancer death in women between 25 and 30. You can look at people and you can take that love you have for the people who you are unfortunately are now gone from this earth and say, look, let's do better the next time, because it's about early detection. We know that most melanomas in this country, which are the most skin cancer, are 12 years in the making before they're discovered and removed. They're 12 years of people who care about them, looking at them, and not paying attention to them before that final discovery is made. We need to make those discoveries earlier. That's what our scanning effort at Melanascan is all about. Get that information early, communicate, see something, say something, and love people around you. And Kim, you couldn't be more right on. Love is the answer.
All right. So the best place we can find info on you, doctor, where can we go?
Go to thebestdermatologist.com.
Okay.
Dermatologist.com. That's it.
All right. Thank you again, sir. All right. That was thanks. That was a special simulcast.